Good morning and welcome to another Superpro Designer screencast. In this screencast, we would be going through a tutorial of how to create a process model. The key initialization steps of any type of process would be shown in this screencast. For this screencast, the tutorial we would be using is of a batch process, which would be simple and quite helpful in learning the basic of it. So the version we would be using for a Superpro Designer is version 13. Now once you have opened the Superpro Designer, I ask you to click on OK and start a new process file. When you have started, you can either choose the batch or continuous mode. We can also work on the semi-continuous mode and change the annual operating time available. For this reaction, we would keep it to the default values and click OK button. After opening our application, our first task would be adding pure components. We can set the pure components by clicking on the task button, going on to the pure components drop down menu and clicking on register or edit view properties. The dialog box for pure components open. We can see that three components are always available which cannot be deleted, which are N2, O2 and water. For this reaction, we would be adding heptane from our database and click on the register button. Some components might not be available or you have to enter it manually. We click on add a new component using the magic wand. Once we have opened the dialog box, we would type the name of our component. In this reaction, we would be using three other components A, B and C, which are our reactant and product. We can then inherit values from other chemicals such as sucrose in this case and click OK. You can change these properties according to your convenience, but for now we are leaving it to just A and we will click the OK button. Similarly, we would do for B and C as well. For B and C, we would leave it inherited properties as water and click OK. Once we have done this, you can also see that we can add our own components in our own database, locally hosted database, by clicking on the My List button. And we can see it is empty. We can deposit it using this button. So for now we are clicking on no because we won't be needing it any further. And we can go back on a previous mode and then click OK. Once we've registered all components, our next task would be adding unit procedures. But before moving on to our unit procedure, we first need to change the properties of our registered and edit pure components. For example, for A, we need to change the molecular weight, which can be changed by clicking on this button, register or edit properties, and we go on to the physical constant. We change the molecular weight to 150. Similarly, for B, we would change it to 25, and for C, we will change it to 175 and click OK. Now once we have changed our properties, our next task was unit procedures. Unit procedures are nothing but the reactions that would be taking place in our whole operations. Superpro has a large array of unit procedures that can be added. For this particular tutorial, we would be using a batch reactor. You can click on any part of the screen for the reactor to load up. The next would be our filtration unit procedure. For that, we take a plate and frame filter. Once we have done this, our next step would be adding operations to these unit procedure. These can be added by right clicking on our unit operation and adding and removing operations on it. For this particular tutorial, we would be adding three charges, 1, 2 and 3. Then we would be taking a reaction that is stoichiometric in nature, and the last would be transferring out. Now we would change the name of our processes or operations by clicking on the rename button. We would change it to, now charge 2 would be changed to charge reactant A. Similarly, once we have changed the name of our operation sequences, we click on the OK button. Next, we would be clicking on the operation data, add or remove operations for our filter. We would see that by default filter 1 operation would already be there because it is the property of our own unit procedure. Now we would be adding wash cake as well as transfer out operation, and then we would be clicking OK. We won't be renaming these. Our next step would be adding connections. We can add connection or stream to it by clicking on the connect mode. In order to see which stream goes where or what should be the default settings for it, we can see it using help. So this shows us the help menu and what stream goes where. We can see this is the vent and this is the default output. So now we would be using the connect mode to add our streams. Now we would be adding our vent stream by clicking on a vent, clicking here, then double clicking. Now transfer out a wash stream is to be added. Now this is our wash stream. We need a cake outlet stream and two extra streams. Once we are done connecting all streams and transfer out operations, we would change the stream names. For example, we would first click on our arrow mode, go on edit labels, and we will change the stream to heptane. And this stream as cake. Click OK. This concludes the part 1 of this video. Thank you.